Good to go?
Yep.
Numbers going up. Here we go.
Toy Power Podcast is a free podcast made possible by the support of our awesome Patreon sponsors. Head to toypowerpodcast.com and see how you can help.
Oh yeah, this is power.
Hello and welcome to Toy Power, the podcast where we talk toys and everything pop culture. G'day, it's Trent here, and it is so wonderful to have your company today for episode 408. This week on the show, it's all about toy collecting and robots, transforming robots, that is, as we have a very special guest join us. In the studio today, we've got Scotty.
Hello there.
Ben Saxy, Big Saxy.
G'day.
Frank.
Hello.
Ex Paco.
There it is. Yep, thank you.
And our very, very special guest, Avon Fox. Welcome to Toy Power.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Very good to have you. We know you mainly from the fairs. And I think Ben speaks a lot. We do a segment we call Latest Scores.
Yep, right.
And I think Ben has obtained a number of very, very clean and very, very vintage items from you. I think Baron Kaza being one of them.
No, that was someone else.
Someone else?
But
Okay.
I got Monstrous, the GoBots Monstrous
yes.
from you, which is an absolute grail piece of mine. When I put photos up, people said, have they reissued it? Because they couldn't believe how clean the chrome was.
I like
and
my
things.
products to be clean.
Yeah,
If I'm going to sell, make
just-
sure it's...
It's prized. Yeah.
Nice. And
toy
that would have been the
collection,
Machine Man version as well.
Yes.
So we can talk about that later.
Very, very, very cool. Well, Avon, as we do with all our Toy Power guests, the get to know you questions, put yourself back in 10-year-old self. Your favourite movie when you were 10 years old?
10 years old. 1984. What's out? Gremlins? Nah. Temple of Doom? Ice Pirates.
Oh.
The Ice Pirates was my favourite film of 1984. My mother took me to see it, assuming it was going to be a Star Wars film because it's a sci-fi.
It's just everything that sci-fi Star Wars
Because
is.
it's got, it's got the robots, it's got the lasers, and it was fairly adult. Let's just put it that way. No, Ice Pirates.
What were they doing, Ice?
So off to an early start.
No, Ice Pirates is set in the distant future where water is the biggest commodity, regardless of the fact that it is the most
Abundant
thing in the entire universe. And the evil government tools around blocks of ice in spaceships. And basically the Ice Pirates swing in Buccaneer gear on ropes and with robots and steal the ice. They Shanghai the ships and they steal the ice because they're Ice Pirates. It was going to be a serious film that halfway through they ran out of money and decided to make it a comedy.
Oh, wow.
And so it's got people like Angelica Houston in it, Ron Perlman's in it in a very early role, a bunch of other people who never did anything else. And it should never have been made. So I encourage everyone to watch it because it has horrendous 80s comedy. It is inappropriate. They do drop the N-bomb once, just as a
wow.
They do.
was
I'm
a
giving
different time.
it was
Different
well.
time, yeah.
Also, the person who does it gets immediately admonished,
Right.
so that's good. But I'm just giving people the warning because
of course.
But it is a great film. It's so surreal and weird.
So this is
right.
going to the cinema
Oh yes,
experience?
it would have been a Tip Top Wonder Bread 2-for-1 special with my brother, who was 4 years my younger. So he would have been 6.
He's still scarred.
It's one of those films.
He hates winter now.
Yeah. What is it like Spaceballs, where they've got those cans of oxygen that they've got the oxygen shortage? And it's like,
See, Spaceballs is a parody of obviously Star Wars.
yes.
Whereas this looks like it's a parody of the sci-fi genre and popularity of space films at the time, and it wasn't. It's
that makes it
it's
weird,
just
doesn't
a
it?
weird film.
Yeah.
There's unicorns at one part during a bit of it, and a frog lady. And have you ever seen Hell Comes to Frogtown?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Like that,
Right.
but sci-fi,
yeah.
but not as cheesy. It has, I think, it may have even have a John Williams soundtrack.
Oh,
It's,
wow.
it's big budget, and Industrial Light and Magic did the effects.
Oh, my
So like it's a weird Ice Pirates. Check it out.
I've never heard of it, so
Oh.
I've just had a lesson.
Yeah, yeah.
There you
Love it.
go.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. We love it. Favorite toy as a 10-year-old?
Favorite toy as a 10-year-old. That is this.
Oh,
guy.
we have props.
I do, yeah.
There he is.
I
The
don't know if
box.
I can see it. But if you go and look up Tonto from the film Message from Space, it's this guy who was released by Bandai.
Unbelievable.
So Tonto or Quanto, which is Quonto.
So this is in perfect condition as well.
Yeah, it's not the one I had when I was a
Right.
child. That fell victim to the sand pit in the
Yeah.
swimming pool in like 1984.
And who produced this toy?
So it's a Bandai,
Bandai toy,
So much
right.
like when we got the Shogun Warriors, the die-cast Shogun Warriors
Yeah.
over here, they also released a handful of these. Remember like the Veritank and so on that
Yes.
came out as part of the Shogun Warriors
Yep.
line? It was part of that sort of thing. Their die-cast collection that came to Australia.
So we're looking at this robot. He's sort of what, 5 inches, 4.5 inches tall. A lot of white on there. He's got a sort of circular head and a lot of chrome. So a lot of white, a lot of chrome. I'm amazed that we're looking at such a good condition toy here because that would have chipped, wouldn't it? Would that's die cut. Oh, look at that! His head's
The top
opening up.
opens.
To like a
Stickers
fan belt.
inside.
Yeah.
So it has
Brilliant.
I don't remember if these come off easily. Oh, they do. It comes with about 6 different
Detachable arms.
different hands and little guns. And
Are
things.
they die cast? Those arms?
They're not.
They're plastic, right.
These are like-
And when you push it
Oh,
along,
look at that.
The little feet move
I-
as he wheels along. You'd almost be forgiven for thinking it's like a prototype version of what turned into R2D2.
Yeah,
Like the colour
yeah.
scheme, the sort of rounded sort of shapes for the head and different attachments.
The head is die cast.
Yep.
And pick it up. It's fun.
Wow,
it is
look at this.
fragile.
Yeah.
but,
it wouldn't,
Oh wow, it's got a heft.
yeah,
It's
it
got a heft
wouldn't be
to it.
out of place in a Star Wars film. It looks very droid-esque. So
So the film Message from Space is a Star Wars Japanese version. Like they had a crack at it. There's an ape man who is kind of like Chewbacca.
Yeah.
And so hang on, I'm going to lean away from the mic for a second. And so it is like they gave it a crack, and this is their. I'm showing everyone a picture of the
Wow.
poster.
We'll put it up on our socials.
So it's
yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh yes,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
There's a
there
lot
he
of
is.
a
He's
lot
on
of
the poster.
similarities there.
Yeah.
So the reason I like this toy, and I'll broadly get a bit further into it, is that I like robot toys traditionally that don't look like a dude in a suit.
Yes.
So from the Star Wars series, my favourite droid, which is going to seem really weird, is FX7. Even as a kid, I loved the figure.
Yep.
I liked it in the movie for all
Yep.
quadrisecond you see it.
Yes.
Moving a little bit. I loved IG-88, not because it's a bounty hunter or that it was menacing. It's not a dude in a suit.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, go as far as RoboCop. That borderlines for me.
Yep.
Because I like the design of the suit. It's a dead man's mask. Skin stretched over a mask. Unlike the new film, which is clearly a dude in a suit.
Yes.
Like it's got to have that uncanny valley.
Yep.
Not a dude in a suit for me, and that's a real big thing for me when it comes to collecting toys.
Right.
Robot toys, anyway. I like the ones that just aren't. I don't like Gundam.
Okay, right.
Like, I
because it's
appreciate-
too-
It's very bipedal.
I appreciate
Yeah.
Gundam. Give me a Zendradi battle pod from Battletech.
Yep.
Robotech, sorry.
Yeah. That,
Fine. It makes a lot more sense to me. Yeah. no,
8209 from RoboCop.
Yep.
Yep.
fantastic. And
Yeah.
the stop motion. Come on.
Yeah.
exactly right.
Yeah, it's. I liked C-3PO when he was blown up. Then on the back of Chewbacca,
Yes.
all of a sudden it's a robot
Yeah.
Yeah.
because to my child brain I went, oh, it's a robot now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It
It's
doesn't
not-
have to have arms, legs, and a head like we do.
No, it's if I'm playing a fantasy game, animated skeletons are the thing because there's something about them. The movement is the Harryhausen's animation.
Yes.
of animals.
Yeah, exactly.
All of a sudden it's surreal and it breaks that. This is a dude in a suit.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's kind of my joy of robot collecting.
Cool. Oh,
Brilliant.
that's very interesting.
Yep.
Well,
Love it, love
in
it.
relation to that, then, what is a last question in our get to know you part here? What is a Grail toy and that you collected along the way, and preferably one that's got a story that sort of maybe kick-started this passion when you were young. So a visual memory you have of a toy from your 10-year-old self?
Yeah, well, I've got a couple, but one's very short. I just want a Madmobile. If anyone's got one,
Right.
die-cast Madmobile. I know that.
Gadget?
Yeah, I know they're hundreds of dollars. I just
Dave
want one.
Holder has one,
Yeah,
and I think he
yeah,
broke it when
yeah.
he got it. He tried to do something and it snapped.
Oh, dear.
Part of it.
Oh, anyway, that aside,
Would you
not-
take a incomplete one?
no.
Right.
No, it's one of those things I've got
Yeah,
to
of course,
I've got to
of course.
fulfill a childhood
Yes.
fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
The little white robot that I was handing around to everyone before, I bought 3 of them before I got a complete
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
and they were all in box, and they all
Oh,
had something
wow.
broken. Yeah, they, it's 40 years old.
Yeah.
The thing that I grailed for, 10-year-old me used to watch a show called Beyond 2000.
Yes.
Towards 2000, before it was Beyond 2000, with Amanda Keller. And
Yes.
yeah, it was a
Yeah.
tech show.
Yeah.
And on that, at the end of 1983, rolling into 84, they had a robot called Topo, which was released by Nolan Bushnell's company, Androbot, that he made Atari. So
Right.
before that, he was Atari.
Wow. Okay.
And he invented this robot called Topo, and it was a Topo 1, Topo 2, and you could program them from an Apple computer, from an Apple II computer, or an Atari computer, and I just wanted one. And anyone who's looking this up, just Google Androbot Topo, Topo. And I had it on the screen before for the gentleman.
It's big.
It's about 4 feet tall.
Yeah.
It basically all it does is trundle around. It doesn't have any arms. Well, it has some little covers that pop out.
I remember him. He was on the show, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
And immediately I went, that's a robot. That's the first time as a child I'd seen a real robot moving around doing things, in a house. And anyway, so I went, I want that immediately. And I was 10. I'm not going to get thousands of dollars worth of experimental.
Big as 10-year-old you,
Yeah,
right?
and then later that year, when I was 10, our class went to the CSIRO, and they had one. So I'm walking down the
you
corridor.
just with a jumper and you've got this big bulge underneath.
Wait.
Why are you wheeling back onto the bus?
Yeah.
Hear me out. So we're walking down the corridor, and I see it in the corner of a room, and immediately I'm enthralled. We've got to be doing something with this, surely. We walk down to the end of the corridor, and we mess around with sugar water. And I could not be more annoyed. I mean, sure, it's fascinating, but
Not when you've just seen a robot.
4 foot tall robot
and
with
it was-
sugar water.
And it was the one that I saw on TV a month before, and the gutting disappointment. So, fast wind through till when I turned to an adult, physically. I start calling the CSIRO. Have you still got that robot? Oh yeah, we're still using it for demonstration. Oh, that's cool. Give him 6 months. Still got that robot? 20 years.
Oh.
It's my freaking robot.
Wait. So you got it from the
same one.
CSIRO.
If we give this to you, will you
Stop ringing this number.
Assistance pays
You have
off.
wasted $50,000 of government taxpayer money. Take the damn thing.
It was basically that. So it ended up going into storage. They weren't using it anymore, and they gave me the Apple II computer, 2 drives. All of the documentation is mint. As far as the museum, there's one in the Melbourne Museum, and I have one. I don't know how many others made it to Australia. So it's basically by today's standards, it's a toy.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
Yes,
it has
Yeah.
the little bit on top of its head's infrared, and you beam. I don't know if anyone ever used Logo at school, where you draw on the screen with a little arrow. You 10 forward, 10 left. Basically the same thing.
Right.
Damn.
So by today's standard, it's a basic toy, but back then it was the height of technology.
Yeah.
And so that's it. So that's on the back. It's got in text to CSIRO.
Nice, cool. So this predates 10 years or so before the Nintendo robot, the little Robbie. Is it Robbie?
He
robot?
would have come out late 80s, I think.
Okay.
Didn't he? This is
He
the one that picks the
definitely-
things up.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So he was controlled by the NES,
Yes.
which came out in 85. So I think he was probably late 80s.
Right. But this one's twice as big and runs off an Apple Mac computer.
Yeah, so
Right.
it does have quite a bit of... the whole bottom section is basically riser card boards, basically RAM. And then you have your computer, you have a little base station, you write your program based on where it's going to start, and then you send it to the device and say start, and off it goes. So the top of the head is a button, a 4-way button.
Yeah.
And so there was a house in America they made in, I think it was, I've got 82. The House of the Future, for example. And they have these in them trundling around with a little cart behind pulling beers to, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the
the
80s
people-
trying to redo the Jetsons in real life.
It was also in a, how do I best put this? An electric blue film.
Okay. Yes.
An 80s electric blue film. Let's leave it at that. So it was also featured in one of those as one of the main actors.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, now I have to know.
Not that one.
No.
Not that one.
CSIRO would
Very
do it.
family
Yeah.
friendly. Yeah.
What's the power source? How does it? Is it a battery or is it a cable?
No, it's got two huge 12-volt lead-acid batteries in it.
Oh, right,
When I say
okay.
huge, you know, whatever. And then you remotely charge them from a transformer.
Yes, gotcha.
Yep.
Height of technology. That's
It was.
incredible. What a great story.
Yeah.
That is
Mad
fantastic.
respect.
Is it still operational, and have you programmed it and used it?
Not in the electric blue way, but yes. Yes, it does work. Yes, it does work fine.
So it delivers beers amply then. Excellent.
It depends how big the cart's. Yeah.
One of the, this is probably rambling, one of the reasons they didn't continue with it was there was no safety. So if it was to careen towards a child, and the motors in it were very strong.
Yes.
They were stepper motors, the sort of things you find on a wheelchair, slightly smaller, but same principle.
Right.
If the program failed, because it was just a basic program, there was nothing told it to stop.
Yes.
So
It's
basically, so if it's running into a child that's on the ground,
like an Elon Musk electric car. You see that shot of it just hitting that dummy child?
Probably more reliable.
well, it has no sensors.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
it's,
sure.
Yes.
I mean, you could modify it so it did, but yeah, anyway.
Given the age. Yeah,
So they just went. Nolan Bushell never got to realize what he wanted robots to be in the home. The cost was too high.
Of course.
Processing on integrated circuits at the time was too slow. Roomba, for example, was the next step where we actually started to see some of that home automation that was relatively safe and useful.
Yes.
And did leverage some of that early learning.
Right. Well, I'll tell you a story about Roomba. Roomba, right? These are vacuum cleaners. I got one and it would go around. It had those pencil sharpeners you used to sharpen. That was its dust collector. It was very small, so I didn't like it. Anyway, a friend of mine had a Roomba. She loved it. She was just like, this is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
Loved the Roomba. Put it on, goes around, cleans, get home from work, and it's all done. Don't have to vacuum. Anyway, one day, she had 2 cats, right?
Yeah.
Gets home, and there is shit everywhere. So one of the cats apparently had scared the other cat into doing a shit on the ground, and Roomba's come along and
Need to clean this.
Yeah, I'll sort that
gone
out.
over the shit, and then just carried it all through the house, smeared it everywhere. So you can't trust. You can't trust your robot overlords.
The only way to clean that is nuke it from
From orbit,
That's
yes,
it.
yes,
It's a
yes.
nuke.
It's the only way to be sure.
I can say from personal experience, I have a Robo-Vac sitting out in the back at the moment with dog shit in it.
There you go. It's not just the one time.
It does happen.
It's unsavory. Other toys that I was fond of, well, my brother was definitely one of my favourite toys. He was 4 years my younger and wore quite a bit of that. Fisher Technic was another thing. Fisher Technic is a German construction toy.
Yes. They still make it?
They do. Beyond Lego, it is the world's most prolific construction toy. If anyone's never seen it, it's kind of a combination between where Meccano left off and Lego Technic started. So it was before Lego Technic.
Yes.
So I loved it. Loved construction toys, which is a big part of what I liked about early 80s toys, because you could pull them apart.
Yeah.
Most of them had a screw in the back, whether
Yeah.
it was robot toys or whatever. And as a kid, I just pulled everything apart. Radios, everything. Anything I could. And robot toys were just the best, because especially Bandai ones, because they had just screws in them. And you could fix them. So that was a big part of my childhood, was fixing toys for kids and making horrible abominations.
Combinations of toys.
This is like Sid from Toy Story.
When I watched that and I went,
Cutting close to home. Am I the bad guy?
Am I the bad guy? Yeah, kind of. A little bit, maybe. Yeah.
Cool. Now, Ben put us onto this
Yes.
website.
Yes.
And I know, Frank, you're a web man. You love your websites. You have one, I'd say rule, but one thing you love about a good toy photography website, your nice, clean, clear images. What was your reaction to seeing the Liberator? Now, we've got to get this right because we don't want to send you off onto some other websites, but it's www.the-liberator.net. Reactions to seeing this bad boy.
This is like, while I'm not familiar with the content, as you guys here in the room would know, I'm sort of slowly working towards a toy database type thing of all the things that I love, and the layout of this, the clean photography. Look, toys can be photographed really well, and you're seeing it more and more with the companies. But we've got people like BC Talk and that who do these amazing sort of Instagram worthy things. But for me, I'm going, if this is an information about someone who's never come across any of this stuff, they don't want smoke in the background. You want to get a nice clean, here it is in the front, here it is in the side, here it is in the back, like turnaround sort of stuff. Here's the accessories they come with. Mwah, chef's kiss.
Thank you very much.
I just think this is the bee's knees when it comes to photography and like a historical record of this stuff.
I'd like to thank OCD and too much.
Oh, you know him as well.
Good friend. Thank you very much. It is a reference site first and foremost. It's not a gallery, and that has always been the focus. My father was in exhibitions at the museum for 35 years.
Right.
So I did sort of grow up with the desire to present information in a way it can be accessible and understandable and all that sort of stuff. And yes, you don't have to take photographs of every single angle, but someone's going to ask. And people do ask. They say, does that skyline, because I only collect skylines, distant skylines, does that skyline, does it have the fuel cap on? Oh, I don't know. I'll go and check. And so I ended up doing an 8 rotation for every mode where possible for that reason, because while I don't care, for some of them
Stops a lot of emails.
It stops a lot of emails. I get about 150 message requests from people I don't know on Facebook Messenger every week.
Wow.
Which and most of them aren't, hey, are you going to sell this?
Yeah.
They are, hey, I've found this thing, I don't know what it is, or look, you've got one that I've got, it's a slightly different colour. Oh, please tell me more.
Yeah, right.
And genuinely, it's a community effort.
Yes.
I might put the site up, but the amount of people that have helped me with factoids and, hey, I found this real weird one with different wheels. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Bring it on. Can I borrow it for a week? And I'll now photograph it for you.
Yeah.
So it's one thing, like we're pretty prolific in the Master Universe realm, and I know quite a bit about the KO realms and things. There's a lot of 5.5 muscly figures out there. But, when you come to Transformers, it's, G1 Hasbro Transformers, and then you've obviously got GoBots and things. But you have gone down that you've dug that channel so deep. It's incredible, and you're the go-to guy on the action figure identification page for anything robots, and it just your expertise on non-transformers, on transforming robots as a
Robots turn into stuff.
yeah. Just incredible. So that's sort of what we're going to talk about now. So what's the story behind your website itself, theliberator.net?
When I started it, no one liked GoBots. And I appreciate no one still likes GoBots. Don't get me wrong.
I know, Scotty, when did you buy your
No, I'm kidding.
I did. Back in June.
There has been a bit of a renaissance because Transformers fans got sick of the cost of Transformers.
Yeah.
And went, hang on, these actually aren't that bad.
Yeah.
They're die-cast. A lot of them make scale models. I think it's 1 to 300 or something. No, 1 to 72nd scale, whatever figures.
Yep.
These actually aren't so bad. And they're cheap. I'll get some of those.
And the nostalgia, I'm sure all of us had
we all
some,
had one.
GoBots or
I had one.
knockoff.
I had Tuxedo with the top hat.
Yeah.
I had the space shuttle one and the red scooter.
Yep, Scooter and
Scooter and Space Shuttle.
and Spacey.
Spacey, that's it.
Yeah.
They obviously didn't employ the writing talent of Hasbro.
Well, there's a story behind it, so we'll get there. No, my original reason I say that is because I originally wanted to make the site about unloved robots. So you'll see there's no Transformers on my site.
They get enough love.
Well, basically everyone else is doing it,
Yeah.
which is great. And there's so many fantastic sites out there. Why reinvent the wheel?
Sure.
But at the time, very few people were doing comprehensive GoBots. No one was doing converters and what the hell's a Zybot. And I wanted to showcase them. I wanted to give them love. I wanted to bring the underdog into the light. These days, I probably wouldn't have done GoBots because they've now found their renaissance and they are popular, and which is great. And I guess there is a side to it which is annoying because when I put a new line up on the site, unfortunately, the price jumps on eBay in about a month because people see them and go, "Oh, there's that thing I had when I was a kid," which is great. So I do try and pick up the whole line before I.
Before you publish.
To be honest, to be
now
honest,
you can raise your prices.
well, that's the thing because I have this mantra with the site. Because it's an information site, a lot of the information I'm putting up isn't available anywhere. So unless I see it on card or I have it on card, it didn't exist. Or that version didn't exist, or that revision, or whatever variant, or whatever.
So you're going to a carded figure for that?
Absolutely.
Right, okay.
So
Yes.
almost every example on the site came out of a box or off a card. And yes, I've discarded thousands of figures.
Yes.
Wow.
And
Well, no, but
Well
that's
done.
really interesting
Well
to know
done.
because
Well
it just
done. Yeah.
goes to the robustness of the information.
Yeah.
that's another story.
Right.
You're getting the premium version of these things as part of why, apart from the actual technological process of the photos, that you're getting, as you said, that one you just pulled out, it looks brand new, probably because it was,
At some point.
when
Yeah.
you've taken it off the card and stuff. Like, amazing.
A lot of people get down to the stamping on toys. So it's whether it was made in Japan, it was
Yes,
made in Macau.
yes, sure.
Some of them have a GK stamp on them, which stands for whatever. The dates they were released and things like that. And they really collect them in a date range. Or they collect them, they want to have one of every stamping. Okay, so if you're talking US GoBots, they have a model number at the top of the cards. And certain stamps are only available in those waves.
Right.
So provide that information. It doesn't take long. You pull them off the cards and you go, okay. Well, I wouldn't do it these days because they're $170 each.
Yeah.
But when I was buying them, they were $10 each.
Yeah,
No one wanted GoBots.
yeah.
And so I tried to buy as many as I could. And there was definitely times where I probably spent more than I should collecting certain things.
We wouldn't know anything about that.
No, but what I mean is I certainly couldn't afford to do this now.
No.
Yeah.
So I've got an offsite storage where I've got stuff,
Yeah.
and stuff that I'll get to over the next 10 decades. But with toy prices as they are now, I couldn't afford to do this site.
No,
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah. Full on. Yeah. So what was your motivation behind doing this site? Like, obviously, you loved it as a kid and things. You saw an opportunity that there wasn't any love for the GoBots, and you decided, with your father being the museum, you felt the initiative to do that. Is that right? Is that sort of
Hubris. Disgusting hubris. And ignorance. Honestly, 2014, this site existed before the robots. There's the bit most people know, but there's another whole other side of the site, which is retro video games. So I had hundreds of Atari cartridges and other weird cartridges and weird consoles and things like that. And I went, well, I actually want to move these on. I've had enough of this collection, so I want to move it on. I'll photograph them for eBay. Well, if I'm going to photograph them for eBay, I might as well make some nice photos. I could probably put them on my website.
Yeah.
Because other sites didn't have the PAL versions of these things. Maybe someone
of course.
could use them.
Yes.
That was the first iteration.
Yeah.
And it's on, retro hardware and games.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I stripped down a whole bunch of consoles, which I did put back together after. And that was that bit. Part 2, I had an unhealthy amount of robot toys
Yep.
at one point. And I went, well, I probably need to sell some of those off.
So this is your own personal collection,
Yeah.
and childhood collection, and
Bit of both.
yep.
And I went, no, I probably need to sell some of that
Yes.
off. And so I started photographing them again, same thing. And I reached out to a couple of the main toy sites at the time, without any names mentioned, neither one of them's still around, and said, "Hey, look, I've noticed on your site some of your examples are actually incorrect in the nicest possible, not being a tool way. Your sites obviously were made years before eBay was such a big thing, and there's plenty of reference materials now, and some of the information is actually now incorrect. Would you like me to help you with sending you the information? Would you like me to rewrite them for you? I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to send you photos and basically do the work for you." And they weren't so keen.
Oh, right.
And basically, you've got, for example, toys listed in this toy line that aren't part of that toy line.
Yes.
And stating that there's 12 figures in this line, there's actually 20 odd.
Yes.
You know, and I've got the information. Would you like that information? I'm happy to do it for you. And the response I got was disappointing enough for me to go, nah, I'm going to spend the next 10 plus years.
Do it fine. I'll do it myself.
At 2 hours a day at least for the next 15 years. Yeah, that's actually the truth.
Yeah.
But it was that. It was a hyper-focused project that got away from me, and it's still going.
Good on you, mate. Mad respect. We love it. And I'm sure you, out of those 150 emails or whatever you get a week, I'm sure there's a lot of love in between that.
Oh, no, people are genuinely... I never wanted to make it interactive. That's why there was never a likes or any interactive part of the site. I'm not a big fan of that. A gentleman who has helped me with the site for a long time from the US, as far as sending me, bulking up stuff and sending it to me, encouraged me onto Facebook at one point. Said, "Look, why don't you take over this group?" And we did that and so on. But it was always going to be a read-only affair, and I had no interest in being social.
Yeah.
But the response is always good.
Yes.
Everyone's always very, very happy to help out. It's definitely a community effort.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Talk to us about the name. Like, as far as, we've spoken about Transformers and sort of the websites around there. A lot of them play on, obviously, the lore and that. The Liberator.net doesn't sort of speak. If you just said that name to someone, they wouldn't assume it's a site about all this cool stuff. Where does that come from?
No, and people have said to me in the past, "Oh, is it because you liberate old toys from the junk or ones that aren't particularly popular?" No, it's just a bad pun. As I said, this site, I've had a number of websites over the years, and this website, Avon is my actual name.
Yes.
People think that my name is it's supposed to be like an online name. It's my actual name. There was a show, a BBC TV series called Blake 7, which ran from 1978-ish to 80, something like that. It was like the Dirtiest Dozen in space. The spaceship they tooled around in is called the Liberator.
Oh, right.
And at some point I thought it would be fun to have Avon at the Liberator because it was his ship.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I registered the domain. And now I'm stuck with it. So it has nothing to do with the site. I just liked having the email address, and I thought, well, when the site started in 2010, I put up some sculptures I'd done and some sketches and some weird music I'd made and stuff like that. And it was never supposed to be anything more than it is. Do it again, I would call it something more rational.
Robot-esque or something.
Retro
or something.
The archive.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, that's why it's called that. It was purely a pun on my name that I'm now stuck with.
That's right. Well done for sticking with it.
I think if you were to change it now, you'd get the inverse reaction. People are like, no, you can't call it Robots Are Us. Leave the name as it is.
Yeah.
And that and Google would just forget it existed.
Well, yes, there's always that.
So there's always that,
What's probably your favourite part about doing this? You've sort of spoken a little bit just to go, making fun of the fact that you've been doing this for over 10 years. Obviously, there's a part of you that you really love doing this, presenting the information. But is there any parts where you go, oh no, they've released a new GoBot. I need to do a whole new page or whatever.
I hate rework. I hate finding out I've made a mistake. And text mistake is one thing, but when you have to go and do a series of photographs again, or I've moved the figure on and now I've got to find it again.
Or you haven't transformed him correctly or something.
That's the biggest thing. And you find you haven't extended the arms down. You go, look, and some things I will do digitally because I Photoshop a lot. And because it's not a gallery and I'm not trying to prove that I've got these toys or whatever, it's not a flex. If a sticker is missing from one side and it's identical on the other side, I will digitally flip it
Yeah.
because it's still a valuable reference. And that's the whole point of the site. That it's a
Right.
reference site. It's not a gallery.
Yeah.
So I will digitally correct things.
Yeah.
And yes, occasionally I can move a wing
Yeah.
because you can get away with so much. But sometimes you just got to do it again. But no, the thing I don't like about doing it is photographing.
Okay.
It's boring.
Yeah.
So there's something like 65,000 photos on the site. There's for every one of those, I will take between 4 and 10 of each angle or whatever it is.
As an amateur photographer, I understand.
So basically, it's standing in a dark room
Yeah.
with a photo booth, with a tripod and a camera on a timer.
Yes.
Click, wait 10 seconds. Click, wait 10 seconds. Move the thing. And I'm stupidly pedantic because if the figure's standing and it's a side view and the arm is going back a little bit, forward's okay. The back looks weird.
Yeah, gotcha.
It just looks lazy.
Yes.
And I think that's some of the OCD side of it. I'll go back and do it again.
Yeah.
And that's like, so yeah, one figure can take a week. Easily. Because then you're looking at information, you're also scanning the card back, you're photographing the card back, you're scanning the instruction sheet, you're scanning the stickers, then photoshopping them all, making them all neat and blah, blah, blah. And, yeah.
Okay, so
Pedantic.
with that in mind, I mean, I never thought. I mean, it makes sense why that would take so long. Do you have a plan for the next 12 to 24 months in terms of so what?
Spend
You're gonna get 52 figures done.
Spend the next 10 years dead for tax reasons. The plan, I'm currently doing Motobots at the moment, which was sort of this generic toy line that MC Toy did, which everyone seems to have with the little pullback motors, and there was a train, there was a truck, a whole bunch of them. They were more prolific than Transformers at the time. They were just in every gas station. They're an American toy, I say gas station. They were everywhere. So far, I've identified 20-something different distributions of them around the world. They're through Germany, they're through everywhere.
Right.
And I planned it would take me a year to do that. And that's just the carded figures, not the individual shots of the figures.
Oh gosh.
And it's awful.
Motobots.
Yeah, no, it is. They've done my head in. And they all have a little motor, pullback motor that slots off the back.
Yep.
They're all different.
Oh wow.
So I've already picked up something like 40 different variants of the motor, and there's way more than that. So from a minutiae collection point of view, for people who are interested, it's awful.
Yes.
So that's going to take that. I had hoped that would take me 12 months. It's probably going to take me to the end of the year. Then I want to get on and just enjoy doing it again.
Yes.
Yes, it's a hobby. Yes, I enjoy doing it, but sometimes you get sick of it. Yes. And I imagine if you do woodworking, sometimes the sanding is the bit you don't want to do, or the whatever. I'm sick of rubbing it back. And there's an element of every hobby, the crashing into the ground when you don't hang glide properly.
That would suck. Yeah.
There's always the bit you don't like.
Yes.
And Motobots has sucked. But no, I want to get on with doing some train station toys, which is something I can talk about in a bit if you like. So Japanese train station toys. I've got some examples here.
Oh wow.
We can segue into that.
Yeah, let's do that.
do
Let's
that.
do
Yeah,
train station toys.
Train station toys.
So train station toys is a blanket term in Japan for cheap crap toys to keep your kids busy while you're on the Shinkansen, the bullet train from A to B. And I'm just going to lean away from the mic for a second.
Yeah. I thought these were toys of train stations.
For a second, I did
I'm
too.
like, wow,
but his explanation makes way more
We're
sense.
going away from robots, but no.
I wanted to clarify that before. That's why I thought, we'll talk about them now.
Oh
Not even
wow!
So help
These are
yourself.
cool.
Oh, look at these.
Amuse
They're
me.
all boxed.
I'm not
So-
even on a
so-
train.
Oh, look,
they-
I love this.
So they look cheap, but they're actually bloody expensive.
Yeah.
So
I've got Super Robo. He's got wrenches for hands.
yeah, who doesn't want wrench hands?
Wrench
I've
hands.
got Change Robo, and it looks like I've got Frankenstein, King Kong here, Terminator, and
What is he? He changes into a skull?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's literally a head. It's a head with a robot underneath.
Looks like
So
a...
they've done all of the classic movie monsters in that.
Yeah.
line.
Oh,
So
it's like
what the guys are looking
Oh,
at?
it's the mummy.
It's the Cara.
Not yeah.
So what the guys are looking at are some very small toy boxes with very nice box art,
Beautiful.
and they're always far better than the toy that's inside.
Of course.
So the nice thing about collecting them, they sort of dovetail into the ephemera collections, where you're basically buying it for the nice airbrushed box art or
Yeah.
hand illustrated box art, which is very, very pretty. The toy inside is genuinely supposed to be played with and thrown away. A lot of these little ones are model kits. The little snap
Yeah,
together
I
model
can
kits.
hear this one's. There's quite a few different pieces.
Oh,
So
look
for
at
the-
this.
For the
It's got a
listeners
window box, this one.
Yeah. For the listeners at home, these are all essentially cigarette packet size boxes. Some of them
Yeah,
are the
little
size of matchstick.
Like playing
We've got
card
some photos.
Yeah,
boxes.
playing cards and things, and some of them have windows. Some of them are just
box.
nothing but artwork. And to Avon's point, the artwork is
beautiful, isn't it?
incredibly captivating. But what you actually get, you can see when you're looking at the window boxes, isn't quite as striking as the artwork.
Oh, and some of them are absolutely awful. I mean, and look, some of these are just little.
Back in the day, what would these
You know.
cost? Like,
Oh, wow. Yeah, it really is. It's that cheap plastic, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. So the model
It's
kits
just-
are just something to play with on the train.
so
Yeah,
would these be a
right.
couple of dollars? Do you
Oh,
think,
no,
or
you're looking
less?
at probably 50 cents or something.
Oh, wow,
They're,
okay.
They're genuinely.
Right.
The
And
sort-
what are they worth now? Because they're such
But that's the
throwaway-
interesting thing, isn't it? Because
Yes.
if you're throwaway,
Yes.
there's not many remaining potentially.
And I'm not sure if you guys you've heard of ephemera. So ephemera, I'm looking at their faces going, is that part of your leg? Ephemera collectors are people who... So ephemera is stuff that is traditionally thrown away, usually print goods. So cigarette packets, cigarette matchbooks,
Yep.
movie flyers,
Yes.
I guess posters to a point.
Yes.
But traditionally, small bits of printed material that Adrian collects the Menko cards,
Yes.
things like that.
Yeah.
So just little bits of stuff that is genuinely supposed to be used and discarded, but actually was quite pretty. And anything sort of from the 50s back was usually more ornate than it needed to be.
Yes.
So these fall into that category.
Right.
So this little guy, this is a Takara one.
It's a little jet plane.
Yeah, but he's a transformer as well. So,
Yeah.
They're cool. Well, he's cool. He comes in a little styrofoam
yeah,
box.
and stickers.
Stickers,
and,
wow.
You know,
Oil stickers.
so these would be what we would class, based in America, they'd be drugstore toys.
Yes.
But
Okay,
they
okay.
just look so much nicer with their little boxes,
Yeah.
and so it's
Yeah.
kind of a little side collection.
because-
so I'd like to get into these in the next 20.
Right.
Okay.
The modern versions of these is just a plastic tray open to the air, and you just
Basically.
you take the toy out,
Yeah.
and that there's no packaging whatsoever. It's just, you've seen them all the
At the
time
register.
at the registers
Yeah.
and things like. So to be a
Yep.
tray.
Yep,
of
yeah,
toys,
gotcha.
And
you pull it out.
yeah,
and
you pull it
it's-
out,
yep.
and that's it. You know, like usually it's car toys or something. Like
Yeah.
there's knockoff
Yeah.
Batmobiles around at
Yeah,
the moment
Yeah.
with a deformed Bat logo, but it's not. You
Yep.
know, it's just yeah.
To get around
It looks
copyright.
like the '89 Batman, but you look at the closely.
Hang on.
Hang on a second.
Schmat man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah.
and I mean, that's not a bad.
That's really good.
That's a
yeah.
nice one. Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
die-cast.
And it looks like a
okay.
decent car as well.
It makes a Toyota Sora,
right.
like a scale die-cast.
Now, there's a
Toyota Sora.
question. Do you have sometimes a lot of trouble identifying the make and model of the, you know, the
It's
vehicle
meant
that
to
it's
look
meant
like
to
a
be?
car, yeah.
Like, for instance, this plane here.
That Harrier jump jet.
Right. So, yeah.
Can you?
Sometimes they're that deformed that it makes it hard. Or do you just have a pretty solid idea usually?
No, I go to this little research site called Google.
Yes.
That a lot of them. Well, this one says Sora on the side of it.
Right. There you
So-
go.
so-
Half
No,
the
to
stuff,
be less facetious. Some of them, yes.
yeah.
Some of them are clearly based on something, but they didn't want to get a copyright strike, so
Yeah.
they just modified it a bit.
Yeah.
But to be honest, when Bandai and obviously Takara were doing toys in the 80s, they didn't worry too much about copyright. I mean,
This one's heavy. This one's
That's
die-
die-cast.
das-
That's
yeah,
die-cast.
it's
Yeah,
amazing.
that's a good
This
quality
one's
one.
really nice.
most of the, we'll talk about Machine Robo in a bit, but most of the GoBots line that people would know, apart from the weird ones, most of them are scale model figures of actual vehicles.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
Porsches, they are a limousine by Rolls-Royce, they're all scale model vehicles, and you can pick what they are pretty quick.
Yep.
And they used iconic ones. Almost everyone did a Honda City Turbo. Because in fact it's advertised
Skids.
on this skids.
Yeah.
Almost everyone did one.
Yeah.
It's and the high ace Vanette, which is Ratchet and Ironside.
And Ironhide, yeah.
Ironhide, not Ironside, sorry. Bloody Transformers, who knows that?
Hindsight sounds so much cooler.
They'll never catch on. Well, he was the dude in the wheelchair.
Raymond Bird.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Everyone did one. So if you see that model, you go, well, it's got to be that one, and it probably is, and it is.
Yeah. Cool.
There's a dump truck. A dump truck. There's a garbage truck over there, and you can find the era. It came out in 1984. What garbage trucks were they using in 1984 in Japan? Yeah, it's the blue one. It's got the same sticker on the damn side.
Right.
It's that model dump truck.
Gotcha.
A garbage truck, sorry.
That makes sense. Yeah. So what are these worth these days? If you were to jump online and hunt one down on eBay,
$50.
$50.
Oh, on eBay, you're probably looking at $150.
Yes.
Most of these I'll buy directly from Japan.
Right.
So from Yahoo
connections and things. Yeah.
Yahoo Japan auctions. If you go through the effort of learning a little Japanese helps,
Yes.
but obviously there's plenty of online translation options these days. But you buy them from Japan, they are still garbage. So you pick quite a lot of these up for $1, $2 or $3, things like that. And so at the moment, I'm picking them up relatively cheaply. Some of the robot toys you've got in your hands there, $50 maybe.
Right.
But obviously, people do tend to buy them from there, then immediately list them on Western eBay for 3 to 4 times the price.
Yes.
Exactly.
Do you travel over there to buy them direct?
I do not.
Right.
Because I don't travel, but because I spend all of my money on robots. No, I would like to. I'd like to go for the Ice Festival at some point and do that.
Dude, watch out for those pirates.
Yeah,
That's true. Oh, you're slick. I like that.
You stole my joke. So this obviously isn't your favourite toy line. What is your favourite toy line on the website?
On the website,
Yeah.
my favourite toy line is Mysterians.
Okay, tell us
So
a bit more about that.
Mysterians. 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 Are you aware of Litan at all? It doesn't matter. Mysterians are a line of toys that came out which were basically geometric shapes.
Oh, the gold one that transforms into a cube?
Okay, so that's Litan.
Right, I know.
The yellow one is a yellow version for Mysterians. Okay, so they're basically geometric shapes.
Yes.
So there's a box, and one's kind of like a tower, and they fold out into very roboty robots.
Yes.
Getting back to my love of roboty robots.
Yeah.
Once again, when I was a kid, back in the dark ages, before the plague, they came to Australia, and I saw them at Kmart. I went, I want those, and I didn't get them because my parents were awful. Just because of that. And then they got banned in Australia. They got the front page of the advertiser, they banned these toys. Okay. The reason was we were in the middle of the Cold War, and that was such a thing that everyone's forgotten about, was actually a concern that we're all going to die from nuclear bombs, that one of the figures on the back specifies that it drops nuclear bombs on its enemies. The figure was called Bomber. And it's a box that turns into a sort of a jet thing, which just has a payload of bombs.
Yeah.
But on the back in the text, it specified that they were nuclear bombs. And someone thought that was on the nose, complained about it, and the toy line was banned in Australia. And I never got one. But now I've got them all.
Oh, and what's the series? How many's in the series then?
I don't know, 6.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
I've got 6 and 3 of the prototypes because I randomly reached out to a guy who worked for Marchon who made them.
Yeah.
And he said, I've got some in my drawer if you want them. He said, oh, no, they're like the prototypes. Do you want them? I went, I've got to give you something for them.
Yeah.
And we had a big chat and I learned a whole heap.
That's amazing.
Wow.
So Mysterians. Yeah. They are. Oh, how do I go into this? Some of the Transformers were Mysterians.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
So which ones, if you don't mind me asking?
I can't tell you that.
Okay.
No,
That's secret.
No, it's not. I do know a website with it on. Now, if you look at Gears on his hood,
He's got an M.
He's got an M.
Yep.
Brawn back has an M on his side.
I think the toys that made us go through a little bit of that.
They should. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they were originally Mysterians.
Right. It's all coming
So part of the Mysterians line. So there's a whole complex thing with 2 companies that tried to get them from the same distributor in China, Knickerbocker Toys and Kidco, who then became Marchon. Long story short, they got bought out by Matchbox.
Yeah.
Martin released them as Mysterians, but they were originally going to be part of a toy line by Knickerbocker. With and Swerve was the other one.
Right.
Not Swerve, sorry. Windcharger
Yes.
was the last one. So
Okay.
so they were going to be part of that Mysterians line.
Yeah.
So mini bots, essentially.
Yeah, mini bots, the
Yeah.
little ones, yeah. Before we go into the next area of chat, obviously you can't. Do you own everything on the site, or and photographer, or can people submit to the site?
Submit to the site.
How do you compile 65,000 photos or something? Is it all you or?
It started off all me,
Yeah.
and a lot of it was my own collection. And then I met a guy called Johnny Seitz in the US, who's been my friend for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And he was collecting stuff I didn't care about. So I said, look, why don't we buy it together? I photograph it at my leisure, and then I just handball it on to you. And we've been doing that for a long time since.
Right.
So stuff that I'm not interested in a lot of stuff on the site. I'm interested in the research. I'm interested in the minutiae, how it links to another toy line.
Yeah. How it's all connected type thing.
The designer who designed the parasites for Matchbox also designed the creatures for Micronauts.
Wow.
And you look at them together.
That
and
makes sense.
You look at them together
Totally
and
makes sense.
they fit perfectly together.
Yeah.
They're
Yes.
chrome. They have the
Yes.
same look. And you go, okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
The company was called R&D Toys out of California. Look them up. And so I enjoy that. The kick I get out of it is the minutiae and the learning the thing. I don't necessarily need 10,000 robot toys that I don't particularly like.
Why not?
The thing is, there is no time frame. So quite often we'll buy something together and I'll have it for 4 years.
Right.
Because we might need to get 3 different versions of it to confirm that a design change was made.
Yeah, wow.
Or that stamping was made, or to slot it into a factory that moved from Macau. Some of them are stamped Macau, some are stamped China, some are stamped Taiwan, China, whatever. Oh yeah, I guess they moved factory. Actually, they didn't. It was just because sovereignty was changing, and they weren't sure if it was going to happen or not. So they didn't want to get on the nose of the regime. So they just started stamping everything China for a bit, then went back to Taiwan.
Jeez.
And you go, okay, well, so now we know which factory it was, and I know no one cares, but it's interesting. It's the only reason I do it.
Yeah,
because that is interesting. You see,
You are preserving history. Never lose sight of that.
No.
Because we're heavy into the He-Man things, and the artists and the designers and things like that. That was just a day job. That was their 9 to 5 job.
Of course. Yeah,
and then everyone's coming back to it and being like, we love this. Tell us more. And it's like, well, I don't know. It was a Wednesday.
It was a slow Tuesday.
Yeah.
I was drunk.
That's right.
And I guess it is that. And part of the reason I enjoy doing it is, and I definitely obviously pull information from some other sites.
Yeah.
I can't not deny that. You then have to run it through a handful of filters to make sure it's validatable. That it's... no, that's it. It needs to be true.
Yeah, 100%.
And you need to be able to hand on heart say that I'm happy for someone to win an argument based on what I've written.
Yes.
Well done.
Yeah.
Respect. Yep. Cool. All right, let's move over to the passion for GoBots and Machine Men. So obviously GoBots is the wider name for the release in the US and things. Tell me if I'm wrong.
If you're American.
Okay, if I'm American, it's GoBots. But over here, it was called Machine Men.
The Mighty Machine Men?
The Mighty Machine.
The Mighty Machine Men. Was it called Machine Men anywhere else in the world?
It was. That's a fantastic question. Thank you very much. I'm glad you asked. So, I'm pulling a bit of paper out to make sure I have the right information. Poppy. People have heard of Poppy or
Yes.
Poppy, depending. So they made the Jumbo Machinda and a lot of the nice die-cast toys that came out of Japan late 70s. They were part of Bandai. So they're the same company. A lot of people don't realise that. So Bandai brought them in-house later on. So Poppy originally made a line called the Machine Robo 600 series. So they were what we know as GoBots. Not all of them came to the West because it didn't make sense because some of them were very... There was a bus that was based only in Japan, the Hato bus, and they didn't bother with that. Yeah. And Bandai thought, well, let's try and float them in other countries of the world. So in 1982, when they came out in Japan, they then tried to float them in the US. So there was US Machine Men. They did the first 6 figures. Didn't sell. America wasn't at all interested in them. This is before Transformers.
This is all before Transformers.
Yeah, so I think Transformers is what, 84?
Yes.
So this is 1982. The
Yes.
world had not seen robots turn into stuff yet.
Yeah.
We've seen some of the poppy toys.
Micronauts was probably the closest thing.
They were
They were
1979. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were more of a parts former
Correct.
construction
Yeah.
set.
Yeah.
So something that was a car is now a standing robot.
Yeah.
Was a new thing. We had seen some of the Shogokin sort of stuff coming out where a spaceship can bind into a robot, but not a single robot had really. It wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
America wasn't interested. Whole Toyland failed. At the same time, they were released in Australia, and we love them. So in Canada, they were called Robot Machine Men. In America, they were called Machine Men. Toyland failed. Over here, it thrived. So we were getting transforming robot toys from 1982 onwards.
Cool.
Then in 1983, they did a deal with Tonka, which isn't surprising because they'd already had dealings with Tonka since 1970.
Yeah.
Because Bandai set up Tonka Japan in 1970 so they could import some of the Japan-suitable Tonka toys, tin truck toys, into Japan. So as a vehicle for doing that. So it made sense that why that relationship existed. So while Takara didn't have a relationship with Hasbro, there was a long-standing relationship with Bandai and Tonka. They gave them to Tonka, who said, we can market these for you. You screwed it up to start with. Let's give it another crack. What they did was gave them a war to fight. Because before, as they were in Japan, they were just nice little die-cast puzzle toys. They were really targeted as kids and for adults. Adults would have them on their desk in the office. They'd be an office novelty toy.
The original fidget.
Basically, they were just a novelty, and people would go, "Oh, that's cool," you know. And I'm going to hand around. They were originally packaged like this. So what I'm showing the guys is
Look at that.
Beautiful.
what I'm showing the guys is one of the largest scale figures which came out in Japan, and the whole line looks like this. They're in lovely 2/3 shoebox size cardboard boxes in foam, and they look like something you would hand to an executive. It's an executive desk toy.
Yes.
Wow.
And, you know, take it out, play with it. That's what it's for. What America did, and I'm just going to say America bluntly because that's how everything was marketed at that point, they gave them a war to fight. There wasn't goodies, there wasn't baddies or anything to start with. Tonka went to sell this, you need to make them fight.
It's got the little men inside as well in the head.
Because they were originally vehicles. They weren't robots.
Yeah.
They were controlled mechs, basically.
Yes.
And so Tonka knew that to get kids' attention, you needed to have a war. They needed to be able to have conflict. And so they created the goodies and the baddies, the renegades and the guardians, you know, and all of a sudden America loved them and they were starting to sell. At the same time, obviously, we got Hasbro and Takara buddied up. They started with Transformers, same thing. Everything was changing very rapidly in the way we sell stuff to kids. Obviously, we guiltily accept that most of the cartoons we grew up with were basically big ads every weekend.
Yeah.
They were. The new toy was going to be in the next episode and whatever else.
That hasn't impacted us to this day.
No.
No, not at all.
Totally
Totally
unfazed.
ineffective. Totally ineffective strategy.
This was relatively new at the time, and no one really knew how to go about it. And so all of a sudden, all of those toys, none of them were just Dora the Explorer going out and adventuring in the world and discovering things. There was a battle, and that's how you sold stuff to kids. So they found a way to market that. In Australia, we were still selling Machine Men. The Challenge of the GoBots cartoon came out in 84, September, same time as Transformers lobbed. And we didn't get it until 86. So because they had to rename it for Machine Men. And
Yeah, of course. It takes a bit of time to...
all that. And so all that time, we were getting Machine Men figures named Cycle Man, Ambulance Man.
Yeah.
You know, they had very generic names.
Yeah.
And then they went, well, we need to sort of leverage some... we need to leverage some of this marketing. We just made this horrible cartoon. Let's do that. So they re-released them all on new card backs with the new names.
Yes.
Right.
So which makes perfect sense from a marketing point. I'm just snapping this toy into show. Sorry about that. It's not my bag.
Bit of ASMR.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
it.
The nice thing about these, and once
Oh,
again,
there you
you
go.
can't see this. The nice thing about these is all of the seams are where they actually are on the real car.
Incredible.
It's beautiful.
I mean, it's a really nice.
So Scott's got
great.
this car in silver, the more,
Oh, yes.
their future
Yep, yep.
release. Yeah. These look amazing in vehicle
Yeah.
mode. What's this one called in
GoBots?
GoBots version?
Xeomon.
Zemon, right.
Xeomon.
It's a Fairlady
And
280.
really weird. Not,
Yeah.
not only do they
It's a
fit,
Datsun,
not
yeah.
only do they
Yeah.
fit in the thing, they also fit in cars.
Oh, you're kidding.
What?
Ah,
That's beautiful.
shit.
When you think about how to do a thing properly.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, you can see that these aren't marketed for kids.
No.
The packaging
No.
isn't for kids.
And you can't can you take the little pilot out or the
No.
driver? No,
it's
he's
like
stuck in there.
So
Yeah.
these are clearly an executive desk toy
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
got to the US and then got slapped into a box with GoBots on it.
And there's no extra missiles and guns and
Yeah.
extra parts
It
that
is
you
what
gotta
it is.
lose.
It-
It's just one unit, which
a-
I think is very clean.
Yeah.
It's a desk toy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they did that. At the same time, Bandai were doing the distribution in Europe as Robo Machine. I don't know whether they didn't just stick with Machine Robo, whatever.
Yeah.
And they too started like Australia. There was no war. It was
Right.
just cool toys that we brought our own worlds to. I'm sure we made wars, but we brought our own little fantasies to and created our own stories for. Had no idea who this guy was because he was Jetman and we called him Mr. Fly. Whatever. They didn't have a backstory. We created that, which I think was nice. Eventually, the GoBots name did come to Europe, and they rebranded things for that. They didn't do that here. It was still Machine Men. They just brought the names across.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah,
There you go.
Beautiful.
That solves all those mysteries because it is it's quite complicated. I remember I started at work and we used to do this sort of quiz every time we had a meeting. And one of the guys giving the quiz this time thought, Trent's a toy collector. I'm going to throw in a nice, easy
Son of a
question. And he threw in a question where the answer was Machine Men.
Oh, wow.
And I answered GoBots because that's how I talk about it on the
yeah,
show.
yeah, of
because
course.
albeit it was an Australian name, it's synonymously known probably around the
And
world
I would do the
as
same thing.
GoBot. GoBot. So I got it wrong because because I've been trained to Americanize it.
what you do, and I talk to American audience most of the time, so I'm going to use GoBots.
Yeah.
Right.
And you do because they
Yes.
have no idea what you're talking about. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect them to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the reason they are extremely difficult to find these days is because obviously America had a very large distribution for GoBots,
Of course.
huge population.
Yep.
Europe also for Robo Machine had a massive population because they were translated. The cards were multilingual.
Yes.
In Australia, how many
Yeah.
kids in the 80s are buying? It wasn't a big distribution. So finding them on card today, or even at all at markets, is less and less.
Yeah.
Right. Of course.
Segue question: do you ever have you ever broken a toy in transformation while photographing it? Because the way you just transformed it, you weren't even looking at it. You were just
Done that a few times.
That was like solving a Rubik's cube with your feet. Like,
I have done that a number of times.
yeah.
I have broken some, yes. Mostly, the gold to dust
Yes.
problem.
Yes.
Bandai
Yeah.
has the same problem,
Yes.
but they have it in blue.
Blue,
So their
okay.
blue ends up getting quite dark. It might be a nice, I haven't got an example here, a nice bright blue,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
That sort
Yes.
of blue. It ends up at blue very, very dark,
Yes.
and it becomes extremely brittle.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Doubly so when they started to put the fleck metal
Yeah.
into
Yes.
so it looks.
Yeah.
So there's a handful of figures that you just never want to transform,
Touch.
and
Yeah,
unfortunately, they are the very expensive
Of
ones.
course.
And they were the variant colours that they did called the Machine Robo Best 5 series, where they released them in little packs of 5 in variant colours,
Right.
and you don't even want to mode change them. I've taken to a screwdriver to pull them apart, and then mode change and put back together again.
That's a great idea.
And even then, I've
Yeah.
cracked a thread.
Shit.
Right.
Because they are just. I mean, from my point of view, I don't care because what I want to do is photograph it, so I can stand it together, and if there's a crack, I can Photoshop the crack out.
Yeah, sure.
And I hate to say that because what I'm creating is a reference archive. I still hate breaking
Of course.
a 40-year-old toy,
Yeah.
and it does happen. And let's pretend it was already broken.
Yeah.
It's not many, to be honest, but there is some that do get busted. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So why did the GoBots cartoon comparatively suck compared to
question we
Transformers?
all wanna know.
I feel this episode with Avon in here is very highbrow, right? We got research, we got facts. Who's put the word sucked in on the run sheet?
It just sucked.
That's it. He's answered the question.
No, well, to start with, they went with Hanna-Barbera and Barbera, and we know what they are. The Flintstones. They are all stuff we grew up with. It's great. We love it.
boo boo.
Yeah, Blue Falcon. Whatever. They'd never done
where's the
anything.
picnic
Jane! They'd never done anything like this before. So you're looking at characters that are very flat, like Fred's always seen from the side.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you're doing geometric characters that are extremely difficult to animate and continue, and then they change shape. No one had done that before. No one in the West had done that before. No one, as I said, the idea of how we market to kids was evolving, and we thought these little toys, we being Tonka, are going to get pitched to kids probably 5 to 7, something like that. The stories need to be light and relatively moral driven, not too highbrow, even though there is later on in the GoBots series some fairly heavy topics about life and death and things like that. Series, whatever. I didn't watch a lot of Machine Men, the cartoon. I hated it. I love Transformers.
You like the toy.
I like the toy.
Like being told how to play with it, so to speak. Yeah.
I hate toys with gimmicks as well.
Right.
The ones
action features and things like that.
Yeah, that stops you being able to move the arms and I hate it.
Yeah.
That's another story.
Right.
So they made a call. Hasbro made a better call. They pitched it for kids.
Hasbro went to Marvel, so
Yes.
that's how they made the better call. They didn't make
Absolutely.
it themselves.
No, they listened to
outsourced
someone
it.
else.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they worked out that these figures are going to be for kids who are a little older.
Right.
Of course.
So, so if you look at a lot of the GoBots figures, I'm using GoBots terms, they look like die-cast cars.
Yep.
And they are traditionally pitched at kids at that sort of 5 to 7, 5 to 8 age group. That's where they would end up in the shops if they were in car mode. Transformers don't look like that. They look badass. And so they're going to pitch them to kids that are a bit older. So they had moral stories, but they were at a level that kids could engage with and understand if they were a bit older. Little kids would enjoy it, but maybe not get as much out of it.
Yeah.
They pitched to a different group of people. They made a better decision. Yes, the animation's better. Hanna-Barbera is a cheap choice. They decided to double down on it. And there's a whole reason for that, which I can get into if you like, why that whole toy line for Transformers is still around and why GoBots isn't.
Yeah, well, quick. Yeah, sum it up. I'd love to.
Please do.
Please do. I'm genuinely.
I love it when someone doubles down and it just turns to shit.
See, I love the figures. I love a die-cast toy. Die-cast for me, die-cast for me.
These handing around some of those toys, isn't that even that little one?
The cheapy one.
And as soon as you felt the die-cast, you can see the die-cast on the front bonnet. You know, like it just
Amazing.
Die-cast with enamel paint.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just
so good.
Chef's
beautiful.
kiss.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
It's cold to the touch. Like
It
you just
is.
love it. Yeah,
And
It's a robot. It's made out of metal.
absolutely that.
Yes.
And I'm sure it's the same feeling that people who grew up in the tin toys generation feel when they pick up a tin toy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go back to 1978. 1978 to 1973, video games were a big thing. Pong had come out.
Yeah.
The Magnavox, whatever it was called, was the first home console.
Yeah.
You got the Ataris, you got ColecoVision. There was a massive game that everyone invested. Everyone, even if they weren't interested in home video games, threw tons of money into it, and it broke. So at 1983, there was a massive market crash in gaming. Everyone lost so much money it wasn't funny, and everyone moved away from it. It wasn't until 85 when the NES came out that this is actually going to be a thing again. This is good. We're going to make money. Tonka would have seen that, and everyone saw that. That was a huge thing in the market. Tonka would have seen that. They went to a deal with Bandai. Bandai said, "We've got some toys. We're already selling. Do you want some toys? Yeah, why not? Take that." They sold the toys that Bandai had. They obviously repackaged them, sold them. they didn't plan to ever make them in-house. So they didn't see this as something that's going to continue.
Longevity. Yeah.
No,
Uh-huh.
but
Yeah.
we're going to do this for a bit. We're not going to spend too much on a cartoon. Everyone's doing cartoons for a toy line to succeed these days. We need to do that. I mean, look at Filmation stuff. We
Yeah.
love Master of the Universe, but it's crap.
Yeah.
I mean, Filmation's animation in Brave Star is so much better.
Yes.
And the backgrounds
Yeah.
are beautiful acrylic painted backgrounds.
Yeah.
I collect animation cells as well.
The intro to the Thundercats.
Oh,
just-
I mean, completely different company,
yeah,
but God,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
nice.
Yeah, but that Japanese sauce,
Yeah.
they just did it better.
It's
yeah.
so nice.
Yeah.
So they went with an advertising budget, hence the cartoon's crap. They did not plan this as a long-term thing.
Right.
So much so that Bandai said, well, we're not going to make any more of these toys. This was our plan.
So Bandai pulled the plug and
pulled the
left,
plug.
right,
At
Tonka
what-
with no choice.
Well, at what we would call Series 2 GoBots.
Right.
Series 3 GoBots, which are traditionally the ones that people look at and go, why GoBots so crap?
Yeah.
Were largely rejected prototypes by Bandai who were never going to release them for Machine Robo.
Aha.
So they were ones that
The
probably got-
Drakes.
Yeah, they,
Similar thing happened with Transformers. You can obviously tell they pulled a lot of the existing toys that transformed into, units, robots and things from A to B, and then you can see that hard cut
When
where
Hasbro
Hasbro started in house,
Yep.
and then they tried to even pivot to the Pretenders and the Action Masters, and it almost destroyed the line. You know?
and that's when I stopped as a kid.
Yeah.
There's those catalogs where you go, well, I like these, and then you get the deluxe ones,
Yeah.
and then after that, I'm not interested anymore.
Yes.
And it broke it for me as a child. I like the chrome, I like the die-cast, and I
Yeah.
like the what I call samurai heads. So like your Soundwave, and almost
Yeah.
all of them have the
Yes.
samurai.
Yeah.
They look like a samurai helmet.
Right.
You know, I call them samurai heads.
Yeah.
And so you look at the way Tonka did it. They cheapened the brand a lot. They slapped the logo on everything. They engaged Gaudy International, who do all the things like the squirt guns and all the stuff you get in show bags, where it's exactly the same. The handcuffs,
Yeah.
just with the GoBots logo on it,
course.
and
Yeah,
it might as well be
okay.
the Starsky and Hutch logo or the whatever. You know, and they just milked it for everything they could. And obviously Hasbro did that. They released sunglasses and all sorts of
Yes.
nonsense. But however, they backed it up by going, well, we're going to keep doing this. We don't think it's going to... They could have lost out massively, but it kept going.
Yeah.
And they took it in-house, and obviously they worked with Takara and continued to do this. But, Bandai said, we're done with this. We're moving on to Gundam.
Right.
Because Bandai was still very focused on local in Japan.
Yes.
Super Robots, which is what we would call Jumbo.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
the
Shoguns.
Shogun Warriors,
Yeah,
Jumbo
yeah,
Machinda.
Yeah.
That had died.
Yeah.
They'd replaced almost all of their foundry with Gundam because that was just selling like crazy in Japan. And they had, I guess, some local honour in producing a quality product for the people they're actually selling it to.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas Takara said, Hasbro said, we can run with this. We got this cartoon. The cartoon did well in Japan. Means that Takara can still sell their product in Japan. Basically, they didn't do anything. They just because you think about the GoBots line is just the toys that came out in Japan. They just went, here you go, just take them and go with it, right?
Yep.
Whatever. They aren't actually from the same line. But you think about the way the Hasbro Transformers are, they are from Takatuku. You've got Whirl, Roadbuster.
Diaclone.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
they're a
Yeah.
completely different company. They're not
Yes,
even
correct.
from Takara.
Yes, yeah.
You know,
The
Shockwave.
Deluxe Insecticons.
Jetfire.
Yeah.
Shockwave, like it's a cobbled
Yeah.
together line of
Skylinks.
nonsense. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. So they're all from all over the place, and they existed before. All they did is
Yes.
recolor them,
Yes.
put them back into different packaging. The molds already existed,
Yeah.
and sold them back to Japan.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Takara's going, this is great. We don't have to do anything apart from just make a variant color of these, and you're going to repackage them for us. Win.
Yeah.
So
Right,
it just worked.
Yeah.
And had Bandai and Tonka probably looked a little further into the future, and had Gundam not been doing so well, it may not have fizzled out like that. We may still have GoBots today. Well, maybe not GoBots, but we have something from Bandai. That they would have,
Yes. Yeah.
because there's other cartoons in. It didn't end in Japan. There's a cartoon came out called Machine Robo Revenge of Kronos, which is a anime as you would expect it, in the quality of anime. That's excellent. Battle Hackers followed from that. They did figures for Battle Hackers, Wheelman, Winner Robo, the Rock Lords, and Mugenbein.
How did Rock Lords come into play?
Rock Lords, I love Rock Lords. Rock Lords are just a line of figures that are called Rock Tribe, basically, in the Revenge of Kronos anime.
Right.
So this goes on for ages, but in the story there is the Jet Tribe and the Battle Tribe, and the Jet Tribe, obviously the jets,
Yes.
and the Rock Tribe are people who live in the ground. They turn into rocks. They were a series of toys that very likely Bandai had lying around, and when Ashy Production said, hey, we'd like to make a cartoon, you got some figures we can license, they said, we're not using these.
Fold them in.
And there's a lot of that.
Geometric shapes? Nah.
Nah.
We've got rocks. Oh, yeah.
Hey, look, I defended them recently, because just think about it, late 70s, early 80s, rocks were big, and it sounds stupid.
Like My Pet Rock and things like
Pet
that.
Rocks,
You know,
one of the biggest selling toys that year was My Pet Rock.
Yeah.
National Geographic used to do exposés on minerals. Kids loved rocks.
I loved rocks.
Igneous rocks, and for a while their rocks were actually popular, and it sort of made sense. And you could throw them at your brother. Master Universe did 2 rock figures.
Yes, they did.
and the whole meteorbs,
Those egg things,
ones and things. Yeah, there's a whole,
So it seems
toy
dumb.
lines of those. Yeah.
80s, man.
However, they were popular at the time.
Cool.
I like the Rock Lord that has testicles. I think that's just that's genius, isn't it? It's
They knew what they were doing.
They did.
And
They
there
knew
was
what they were doing.
a combiner Rock Lord, the type.
There is.
The dinosaur.
Fossilsaurus.
Fossilsaurus. That's the one. What, how crazy is that?
It's actually really good.
Yes,
It's
I've
a terrible toy, but it looks good.
I've seen lots of photos. Oh yeah, very cool. All right, let's move on to your personal collecting journey. So,
Oh God.
when did you start collecting, and what was it? Was it robots? You talked about your video games and things, and then your robots, and you hinted at a bit of filmation cells and things.
Going back in time, I'm just going to say autism.
the answer is
Even as a kid, there was stuff that I knew was special and had to be protected, so I'd stick it in a box. It might have been a rock or a small bit of glass. It would be something that I found and thought, this is cool, I'll stick this in a box. So that was probably the start of collecting. I then discovered music and trying to be cool through high school, and it did not work. Notice I didn't discover girls. They didn't discover me. Then I met Justin Eddy, that you all know, because I moved house and moved suburbs, and we moved out together in a share house and started collecting stuff we like. So it was mostly Star Wars. We'd walk down to the Christie's markets and buy Star Wars figures for 20 cents. And, fan my... and that was the start of not stopping collecting. So that was probably 92. And then I just became the robots guy for a while, and I had a collection that was probably 4,000 to 5,000 robot toys.
So you get these people, you see, I don't know, Facebook or something will pop up and it'll say, so-and-so has world's largest, transforming robots collection, 2,000 robots. And you're like, surely, come on, we know people. I almost have more in my room. I don't even collect them.
We didn't want to tell anyone. We're afraid of getting broken into.
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
No, it was. And I had this, over the years, I'd amassed this collection that was just too big. And without getting too deep, I guess I have this thought of, at some point, I collected all robots I could find. And ones I liked. I like Astromechs. And I won't go into... I like Art Deco robots. So, your Astromechs are definitely in the Art Deco sort of lot. I would go and buy the next Astromech that would come out, and the next one. You go to Target and race down. Next. It was just feeding the collection.
Yes.
I didn't need another green one with a slightly different head.
Until you bought it.
Until I bought it.
But it's got a new hat.
Yeah, it's got a new hat. But it was that. It was that fear of missing out on getting... before FOMO was a thing, that was a thing.
No.
And
you're in a very, very safe space.
No, I understand. And I'm okay with who I was. Yeah, you still are. No, and I'd get home, rip it out, stick it in the cupboard. And I say cupboard intentionally, and then forget about it and just walk away. And at some point, even the nicest cabinets just become cupboards with a clear front.
Yes.
And that's a mantra I've tried to keep, that I don't ever want to go back to that. And so I did this ridiculous purge in 2015 where I just sold off at probably You probably walked up to the stall that I had at the Wayville Market.
Back in those days, I would.
That was
there was
ridiculous
one
purge.
year I walked in and I saw someone who had G1 Transformers, and I dropped $300-400.
Yeah.
And still to this day, that's where half of my Transformers come
Yeah.
from. Like, I got all the cassettes. You
Yeah,
know,
nice.
all the cassettes I've got in my collection were from that one. And like, I knew I had only walked 20 steps in from the door. I'd spent all my money, but I knew no matter
Absolutely worth it.
wherever else I walked in that day, I would not have found anything like
Yeah.
that. And I just knew if I didn't buy it then and there,
Gone.
It
I
was
would have
done.
done another lap, and I wouldn't have nearly the plethora of choice.
Yep.
And I don't regret it. I honestly, you know, and the money I was spending, value for money, you know, you're picking up cassettes for 10, 15, 20 bucks
Versus
or whatever,
today's prices.
versus today
Jeez,
when $50 for missing, you know,
Yeah,
a weapon
incomplete.
or it just anyway.
So I got rid of most of it.
Yeah.
And that was where I photographed stuff for the site. That's when that started, because the site went live with robot toys in 2016. So I took about a year to photograph stuff. I have so much stuff that is never going to be on the site because it's Shogun Warriors, Chogokin, all sorts of...
Yeah.
There was tiny little ones that came inside of a water pen. I just collected... It was a pathological robot collection.
Yeah.
And you go, no, this is unhealthy. And I don't regret that. And then I collected what I collect now, which is I loosely class stuff what I like looking at.
Yes.
And I have... You asked about what the stuff I collect. I have two collections. There's the collection for the site,
Yes.
which does marry up with stuff I like as well.
Yes.
Because I like Machine Men. I'm going to put them on the site.
I don't think you could create a site like yourself if you didn't love it. You know,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know what I
like-
mean?
I
you-
like
you
all
have
of
to,
it, but I don't need to keep all of it.
Yeah.
True that.
I understand.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So I can,
Catalog it and then you
Yes.
yeah,
move it
but
on.
I also get to play with it. So it's
Yeah.
kind of my excuse to buy an expensive
Yeah.
robot toy, noodle around with it for a bit,
Yeah.
go, oh, I've finished with that, and then pass it on to someone who enjoys it.
Yes.
You know. But I definitely have there's the collection of stuff that's for the site because I don't need jigsaw puzzles and I don't
Yes.
the site needs jigsaw puzzles,
Yeah.
so I convince myself. And kids' books and tapes
It's
and
for the site.
it's for the- that's a problem. But my own collection is stuff what I like. The train station toys has been a new thing. They've only just started getting into in the last couple of years. But Machine Men and definitely Machine Robo are my core interest. The packaging is a big thing for Machine Robo. I like the little boxes. They're all the same.
Yeah.
And if you people go to my site, look at Machine Robo, you'll find it. But they stack nice together. So there's nice OCD, pleasant.
Yes.
They've planned it so there's a little rainbow that goes around them. They all line up when you put them next to each other. It's like, oh, come on, guys. I don't even need the toys. Just send me the boxes. You know? So I collect Machine Men mostly because there's nostalgia there.
Yes.
But also there's the feeling that, I'm not sure if you got the same thing, but years ago when you first started collecting, I better preserve that in case it disappears. Obviously there's 1,000 He-Men out there, but at the time, I should put
There was a time where I felt I was the only one who had this item. You
Because
know?
we didn't have the internet. We didn't know how big this sort of thing was.
Yeah, and so I probably should keep that.
Yeah.
And we kept a lot of stuff we probably didn't need to keep. And when I'm collecting Machine Men now, not packaged Machine Men, I still am likely finding the only example that still exists, or of maybe a handful.
Yeah, of
so
course.
that's the only thing that still gives me that I probably should look after this.
Yes.
That feeling, you know. I got a heap of Machine Men carded stuff and some box stuff from a guy because his dad had it in an attic and he was a retail rep and he found them all in tubs in his attic.
Yes.
And our first question was, who has an attic? And my second question was, how much do you want?
Yeah.
And we worked something out, and it was and it was good. It's the only toy line that gives me that I should probably look after this.
Yes.
And it does get pride of place. It's the bits in my cabinets that take up the most egregious amount of space because everything else is kind of stuck in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Machine Men are a big thing, and just toys that I like the look of. Off-brand toys often made a bit of a converters. I've picked out a couple that I had when I was a kid. You know, some of the bird ones, and so I've got over the need to have everything in a toy line.
Yeah.
And I encourage anyone to look at that. You don't got to catch them all.
Yeah.
You know
It's
what I mean?
tough. It's
Yeah.
tough.
It is.
Snake lair. See you later.
You mentioned that OCD thing before.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's a big thing. And just going, look, I buy a whole line of toys, for example, and you've got 6 in there you don't like. And if it's a line of 100 and you've got 6, well, look, I'll have the 6.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever. But if it's a line of 10 and there's 4 you don't like, and with today's toy prices, is that $200 you've spent when you could have just bought something else you liked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know I know that makes sense. It's extremely hard to do. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Preaching to the converted.
It really is. Well, yeah.
Well, can I just say, I mean, you have got the great purge of 2015, but the images of your toy room, super crisp, super clean.
Amazing.
It looks beautiful, well lit, lots of glass. And I think that's sort of a really good mantra going into this. Because if you can't, I mean, this is what I've learnt from you guys. If you can't display it, why have it?
Yeah.
Is one of the points. I'm getting there.
How's that going for you?
I'm not there, but I like the mantra. I like looking at your guys' collection.
Well, funnily enough, obviously the audience can't see this. There's 4 cabinets along one wall, and I got rid of my other big cabinets after the big purge. Got those 4, and I said to my partner, if it doesn't fit in those cabinets, I don't want it.
Yep.
There's now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other cabinets.
And when I said those cabinets, there was a little asterisk there.
cabinets yet to be purchased.
For some time, it was just those 4 cabinets. But that said, I enjoy looking at everything in those
Yes.
cabinets.
Yeah.
I'll walk up to it and go, oh yeah, I like that. No, that's cool. I enjoy it. And I do take things out and they do get moved on from time to time. But there's not one thing in there I don't look at and go, oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
nice.
But there's Pulsar down the bottom. Mattel's Pulsar, he squeezes his back and the blood goes around in his chest.
Yeah, but that's very like Mosquito.
Yeah,
from
just a
Masters.
12-inch version
Yes,
of that.
yes.
And like there's a lot of it has no rhyme or reason. I just haven't
Right.
liked
Because
it.
you like it. Well, that's at the end of the
That's
day.
collecting
That's
in a
it.
nutshell.
That
Just-
is-
Just for the audience out there, Avon's going to be day 33, and you'll be able to see what we're seeing on the sites and things on the
Oh,
on
the
his-
collection
on the
site.
collection
Yeah,
thing.
it's a great
It's
idea.
a 9-year anniversary.
Yep.
But also you've got some 3D printed Insecticons that are probably a meter
26 inch.
right.
So
They are amazing,
they are
and they're articulated too.
20 something points about
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
customs, are they?
I bought a 3D printer,
Oh, right.
and that is a bad thing to do. I bought a 3D printer, and then I reminded myself that I could actually use Blender, and they were models that existed, but they needed significant. They were designed to be about 6 centimeters tall.
Right. Yeah.
And,
You blew them up.
and I blew them up, and I had to fix them quite a bit so they didn't look awful. No, the thing I discovered with 3D printing is, yes, you can make the stuff, but it's more about trying to do things it shouldn't do.
Right.
So you can print 1,000 little dragons, whatever.
Yeah.
But someone goes, "Oh, here's like an FX7. I want to make a lamp that's 2 meters tall, and it's got to be scaled properly, and then so it becomes a project." And well, that's my problem anyway.
Yeah. Where does Voltron fall into your fan base? Are you a fan of Voltron?
Vehicle Voltron.
Vehicle.
I mean, like I respect. Diarugga,
Yeah.
which is basically rugby team.
Right.
So that's Diarugga. What is it? 8? I can't remember the number on the end.
16, is it?
Whatever the number of parts are.
Yes.
It's
16,
based on Diarugga rugby team.
Yes.
It's
Right.
So it is 18.
Even I'm learning something.
It is a team.
Translation 101.
No, I grew up with Vehicle Force.
Yes.
And once again, Art Deco.
Yes.
And no, that's mine. I like Voltron.
Fantastic.
I did have the Jumbo at some point, but I moved that on.
Yeah, fair enough. Can't have everything.
You can't.
Excellent.
Brilliant. Well, that has been an absolute eye-opener. That has been fantastic. I've learned so much. You know what? Like I said, we're about to talk about our 9th year of doing this show, but you can do something like this for so long and realise how much other stuff is out there that you know nothing about.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's great, isn't it?
I love it. I love discovering new stuff. I mean, that's just when you think it might be getting boring, there's another whole world out there.
If it stops getting boring, I wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
it starts getting boring, I wouldn't want to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, so Radical Rewind, 12th of September, they're showing True Lies.
Yes.
So
I want to
so-
see this on the big screen.
Yeah,
It's a
Do it.
great blockbuster film.
Yeah.
I picked it because with the trailer they showed, there was just this shot of, it's Jamie Lee Curtis when she's in the interrogation room and she's just walking up to the glass, and then it goes into, coming soon. And I picked it from the first frame. I was like, bang. I know what this
Yeah.
is.
I've watched this Jamie Lee Curtis scene.
Just a few times.
Do it. Do some more. Do it slowly.
So that's going to be awesome.
Wonderful.
We've got the Adelaide Toy and Comic Fair on the Monday, the 6th of October. Avon, you'll be there?
Very likely.
Fantastic.
I'm probably just buying things I shouldn't be buying.
Right. Fantastic. Oh, cool.
We do that even when we sell things.
Yeah, definitely. That'll be
I
cool.
just get a table so I can get in early.
Oh, don't tempt me.
Yeah. And we'll have a table, so if there's any machine men or whatever you need to hide down there, we can help you out. And we've got our 9th year celebration from the 1st of August. So send me a pic through the Toy Power Messenger or, whatever.
Page, yep, socials.
Yep, through the socials. It's going strong. I'd love more. I
I've
do
got
have
one coming.
I do have quite a few, but I can always have more. So
Send them in.
Yep, send
It's
them
great.
in.
Wonderful.
Fantastic.
Avon, thank you so much for joining us. That's been
you,
an
guys.
absolutely sensational episode.
it's good.
How can people get in contact? Through the website? Or
Yep.
No, he doesn't want
you've
contact.
Got Facebook?
No,
It's a one-way thing.
It's
not interactive.
No, bring snacks. No, if you jump on the website, mash the contact button.
Fantastic.
There's details in there.
Yep. And we'll have the website written out in the in the show notes.
The-liberator.net.
Beautiful.
Or .com. I stole them both.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
nice.
Good.
Well done.
Wonderful.
Well,
Well,
cheers. Thank
you,
you.
guys.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
for
you,
bringing
mate.
such
Thank you.
awesome things in.
yeah, it's so good. So tactile.
Yeah.
Loving it. Loving
Yes.
it. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of Toy Power. And to all our patrons, thank you so much for your ongoing support and chatter on the Discord. Stay safe, take care of one another, and we will see you around the toy aisles.
And until next time, good journey!
You can find the Toy Power team at all the usual online places. Facebook.com/Toy Power Podcast, at Toy Power Podcast on both Twitter and Instagram, or have your say and email us toypowerpodcast@gmail.com. Subscribe to the show on both iTunes and Stitcher, and please leave us a review. Otherwise, we just assume we're awesome.